With the start of my word, my time will begin. Hey everyone, thanks for joining the first Constructive Speech and Debate podcast. This is a podcast for everything speech and debate in Texas. Our names are Ryan Stokes and Kenny Adcock, and we are excited to start this journey with you. As we are beginning to work through the upcoming season, it is our goal to share some stories, introduce you to experts, and facilitate conversations that we hope will help you throughout your season. So whether you are a coach, student, competitor, or just a parent trying to figure out what this crazy event your student is participating in, we hope that you enjoy the ride with us as we start this journey. With that being said, I'm going to turn this over to Kenny and let him introduce himself.
Okay, Ryan, that was a little bit of a novice 1AC. I'm going to forgive you for that, but looking forward to this journey with you, my friend. So like Ryan said, a little bit about myself. I started debate in college. I didn't actually start in high school like a lot of people. Didn't have the same reference point that a lot of my colleagues and friends do, and I had to play a lot of catch-up games. I had a little bit of success at the college level. I didn't have a lot. I was on a really good team. I had a really good coach. Made some good friends along the way that decided they want to go on really interesting journeys with me. Really thankful for that and some of the friendships I've built through this activity. My teaching career began at Marshall High School in 2016, maybe 15. I don't know. Time's weird. I'm entering year 9 in the classroom, but I spent 4 years at Marshall building speech and debate program over there. I had the luxury of fielding full teams, got to be pretty competitive over there, got to have some really, really good journeys, make some good friends along the way. Was able to get Marshall High School to CX State in 2019. And then unfortunately some changes happened. Life kind of does what it does. And I was going to get reassigned to the junior high. And instead of doing that, I decided that it was time to transition. I accepted the job as the Ore City High School speech and debate teacher / coach. They didn't have any idea what they were getting on. And it's been a huge blessing. They've kind of revitalized my career and given me some good tools and help and feedback. Over the couple of years that I've been there, I've had a lot of fun. Got to see the different transition from large school speech and debate to small school speech and debate. When I started at Ore City, we were a 3A. Spent 3 years rocking and rolling at that. Last year, the realignment, we fell down to 2A. In the last 4 years, I've had 4 state qualifiers in Congress. I've had a state qualifier in CX, prose, poetry, informative, persuasive. Had an informative finalist this year, was the overall district team for 21 2A, was the region team for region 3 2A. And I'm really pleased to say that this year I have the current 5th place team in 2A, the 2nd overall speaker, and the current state champs in CX debate. Had a really good year. Had a lot of fun. Made a lot of memories along the way, and have really, really enjoyed getting to tell the story that is the speech and debate activity to my kids. Getting to invest in them, other coaches, other mentors, parents, and watching them invest in me. So I love this activity. I love what it's done for me. I love what it's provided, and I love the opportunities that it's allowed me to give to young people as well. So Ryan, that's me. You're the co-host here, so why don't you give us a little bit of background about yourself?
Sure. I did debate for 1 year in high school because my CX partner came from another school, didn't want to give it up. And I said, sure, I'll join this crazy thing. And really fell in love with it, really enjoyed it. Had a good year for a novice as a senior. After that, I went and did some college debate with you at ETBU and had a good time doing it. And then when I finally got into the classroom in 2016, I did it as a speech and debate coach. And during that time, I spent 7 years at Pine Tree High School in Longview at the 5A level, coaching kids that really inspired me and some that gave me some headaches, and really enjoyed my time there. During my time there, I had several state and national qualifiers across the different UIL and NSDA events. My main focus and love is CX. I also like LD in Congress, and like most kids, I'll do extemp and try to make it seem like I like it. Now, though, I've left Pine Tree. I'm headed up to Sunnyvale High School near the Dallas area to the 4A level, where I'm really excited to see what these new kids that I've got are going to be able to accomplish this year. Love the CX topic. I think it's going to be great. I'm digging into it currently, and then just really enjoying the literature so far. So that's a little bit about me. Kenny, there's a really good question here. What made you decide to start this podcast, and what are your goals for it going forward?
Well, before I address that, one of these episodes, we really need to get you to talk about some of your favorite disadvantage and or Disney performances that you ran with your partner, but we'll save that for a later episode.
I might get kicked out of the community.
I don't think so. I think it'll be a good laugh. Man, so like all debate coaches, I listen to a myriad of resources, right? Speeches, podcasts, things of that nature. And I'm also a PhD student because I'm going back to school. I want to be a director of communication one day. So I do a lot of research, a lot of reading, and a lot of that stuff. But really and truly what happened is some knucklehead called me at like 2 a.m. Because he found a hole. And he knows that I have a bit of a tech background. I'm pretty good at like video stuff. And he thought I could be a good contribution and maybe provide some good insight to the conversation. Hopefully I won't disappoint as this journey works through. And so I was really excited to get to do that, to get to be a part of that process with that knucklehead. My goal, man, so being in small school speech and debate for the last 4 years or entering year 5, there's a disparity of resources. And what I mean when I say that is, I have seen like the national finalists for this year, the level of consultation and the level of coach that they get, and the level of culture that they have at, maybe the private school or maybe that large school environment, the budget constraints, right? Like some of those hurdles that I've had to overcome. I'm in tab rooms, 15 to 20 times a school year because it's how I can finance my season. Just some of those hurdles, right? I wanted to be a part of a resource that leveled the playing field a little bit, that allowed small school coaches or coaches who maybe had the same experience I did, right? Like when I came into this, I had no idea what CX was. Like my first round, I wanted my kids reading 100% on case arguments because that's what the style of debate I competed in, and it made the most sense. I have since learned that's a terrible strategy, and you probably shouldn't employ that, right? Like I don't want people going through those kinds of bruises and looking at their high school kid who went to a camp or something of that nature and is like, yeah, they told us to run this like disadvantage argument and kind of just ignore on case. Like, oh, okay, like there's a purpose here, right? And so that's really one of my big goals is to create a resource that people can access that's free of charge. I want to teach, I want to build, and I want people to love this activity and this community as much as I do, because my mentors throughout the process have just given me so much, right? Like whether it's calling you and I say, hey, I have this CX idea for this disadvantage argument, or, there are other coaches in the community that I have called at obnoxious hours of the night, and they picked up the phone and helped me grow and helped me cultivate ideas and strategies. And if I can give back and do that and be that for the community, man, that's my ultimate mission. And so that's me. That's why I decided I wanted to go on this journey. Hopefully you'll explain to these people why you decided to call me at 2 a.m. Talk to us a little bit about why you did that. What was your goal? Why are you wanting to do this, man?
Well, as I think most people in the debate world can probably agree with, I listen to a lot of different podcasts, from politics to comedy. And I was listening to podcasts right before 2 a.m. And I said, you know what, maybe there's something out there for speech and debate. So I started looking, and I just noticed there's this ginormous hole in the podcast space for what is not necessarily a super niche area. There's millions of kids across this country that compete in speech and debate events. And in Texas, I know there's thousands. And I just kind of said to myself, Ryan, you really love podcast and getting information from different sources. Like you use stuff you hear from news outlets and things like that to bring in and help your debate creativity and help expose your kids to new information that they can use in their debates. What if we actually had one that was tailored to speech and debate? And so I called you and I was like, hey, you want to do this crazy thing where we try to start a podcast? I think it would be really beneficial as a resource to small schools and large schools alike, and especially coaches, because I'm lucky enough to be at the Baylor workshop this week where I'm getting to talk to experts in the field like Rich Edwards and have him look over like a case I'm writing. Is this topical? Like, is it even going to be something that is like runnable this year? And just getting his feedback, like a guy who's nationally renowned as being a expert, or talking to people like Rory McKenzie, like just the networking that comes from the camps. I really feel like a podcast where we can bring on those experts, do interviews with them, help these super helpful people get into contact with coaches that maybe don't have the ability to go to a camp and network with them. So that's my real hope for it. I also hope to talk about some of the fun ideas and arguments that pop up throughout the year in the debate space. Like, we're talking about Social Security, fiscal redistribution, basic incomes, and federal job guarantees in the policy realm this year. And that's just exciting, especially with everything going on in the country. So that's my hopes. Oh, there's the timer. So thank you for joining us as we launch this project. And join us next time for our next installment, where we hope to give you an overview of how we would suggest starting your season, planning out schedules, resources, and other strategies that we've developed over the years.